What's up, everybody? Steve Sterlacci here with a pedal update. It's been about 6 months since I got my Nordland ODR C, and back in January I said that it was going to be the best overdrive pedal of 2020, and so far it's proving to be true. Kai sells out of these within minutes on his website. There's people on the gear page that are watching his website like a hawk, waiting for the countdown timer for availability, and they're flying off of his shelf for good reason. For those of you that don't know, it's an ODR1, but it's not exactly an ODR1. Kai is the original designer of the vintage ODR1 as well as the newer ones. And this is his first original design that he's come out with under his own branding. So it's considered to be like an ODR1, but totally on steroids with new features and sounds just as good as the old ones that are the, super rare coveted ones. For convenience sake, I have my vintage one right here pulled up next to it, and I'm going to compare them side by side. And I'm also going to be playing these through my tube amp this time. If you had seen my first demo, I was plugged through my Helix, but a couple of people were requesting real tubes, so I'm going through my 68 Bassman into my Sir Reactive Load, straight into my DAW with a little bit of Helix native reverb. So let's get into it. Here's the clean bypass sound. I'm using my Iconic Guitars Vintage Modern Telly. So let's compare the two first. I got them kind of sounding similar, as close as I could get, just doing this on the fly. This is the Nordland. Switch over to the vintage guy. So very similar sounding at these stock settings. There is a manual online that Kai provides that shows you how to get it to sound like your stock ODR1. In my case, my vintage one. They all sound a little different, so you got to tweak a little bit. This is not going to be a total comparison video, so I'm going to get rid of the vintage one. Let's focus on the Nordland ODR C 6 months later. So let's just go right through it, right? Let's go through all the settings here. Let's go all knobs at noon here. We're not going to use the low cut or the ODR C. Actually, while we're here, for those who are new to the ODR C, this is considered to be like an ODR1, but it's got an added low cut knob. It's got an ODC knob. The ODC knob is really unique in that it's a knob that lifts compression off as you add gain. So when you gain up the pedal, it sometimes starts to compress and kind of lose dynamics and sound kind of wonky and muddy. That compression lift is what I call it. Opens up the sound and makes it a more open, clear sound. It also has a mid knob, which is an added feature. Something cool about the pedal, if you haven't seen the other demo, the Spectrum and the mid knob have little notches that let you know when you're locked into the center position. I don't know how to demonstrate on the video, just trust me. It locks into place in those 12 o'clock positions. So here's all knobs at 12. A classic ODR type of sound. Let's try it for a low gain. One of my favorite settings for this is using it for a low gain. I don't use the mids that much. I love the way it sounds as it is. A little too much level there. Bring that back. Probably where I would leave it if I was playing, if I had this on my board, playing in a band, playing my telly on the bridge pickup, that's going to be my go-to about setting where I would just use it all night, probably keep it always on. Let's do some other stuff here. Let's gain it up. We haven't even touched the extra knobs yet. Keep going with that drive knob. Let's crank it all the way up. So now that we got the gain all the way up, let's pull up this ODC, put it about 12 o'clock. Let's hear the difference there. Let's roll it back as I play so you could hear the difference there. Subtle difference, but you could definitely hear it open up and start to really blossom in a different way than when the compression is on. Also, when you have the gain up, the big thing about these pedals is that it's great for a telly because it has a lot of low end. In the case of the ODR C, it has that low cut. So now if I switch to this neck humbucker, let's hear what that sounds like without the cut. Still a usable sound, but it could be considered muddy. So let's give me some of that low cut. Let's even see where it's at. About a quarter of the way. Let's keep going with that low cut, about halfway. Still on the neck humbucker. Bring it up even more. This is with the low cut, about 3/4. And now with the low cut all the way up. Let's go to the single coil split neck pickup on this. All right, now that we got drive, low cut out of the way, I'm going to keep the compression on, gain about 3/4-ish, a little bit past noon. Now let's go low mids first. So if you want to play a rhythm part in a track, you don't want to stick out too much. Now let's bring that up. Keep going with that mids. Now we're going to be pushing it a little bit. So you could really start to hear it getting more in your face. Let's jack the mids all the way up, a little bit more gain. Use it for a lead sound, neck humbucker now. gotta always screw up the last note? Wanted to just give my experience a little bit. I see a lot of people asking questions about whether it should be pushed or be used to push. If you're using a boost pedal or if you're using another gain stage, I would always recommend using this first. It tends to get a little bit boomy when you put a boost pedal going into it. When I have this on my full pedal board, I use my RC booster, and I tend to like it after or not in tandem with one another. Getting pushed into it definitely adds a little bit too much low end where I'm not into that. So I usually put the boost after as like a solo boost. All right, so thank you guys for watching, checking this out. I hope you guys, if you're considering getting one of these, get a chance to before they keep selling out. And this has been my 6-month update on the Nordland ODR C, still the best overdrive of 2020.